Hey, Monica, did you know it's now even easier to listen to Round the Hay Bale podcast?
What? Really? How easy?
That's right. All you have to do is say, Alexa, play Round the Hay Bale podcast.
Playing Round the Hay Bale podcast on Apple Music.
Oh, we're really fancy now.
Tune in to Round the Hay Bale every Monday at 9 a.m. Central. Round the Hay Bale Unscripted is brought to you by, with gardening season at an end, Cayce certified organic products are still what your soil needs.
From overwintering fruit trees to preparing your soil for spring, Cayce calcium-based fertilizer gives the essential minerals they need to thrive.
Applying Cayce to agricultural soils and water has been proven to increase plant and crop yields while making vegetables and grains healthier and more nutritious.
In addition, Cayce can help restore the nutrient balance in animals when they are fed plants grown using Cayce in both soil and water.
To check out all of Cayce's organic products, visit cayce.com and use the promo code HAYBALE for 10% off your purchase.
Grab a cup of joe and gather round the hay bale with your hosts, Alicia from Country Mama Musings, Anne from Andale Homestead, Cayce from Ormsby Farms, and Monica from Bland's Promised Land Ranch. Now, here they are, unscripted. Hey, y'all. Hey!
Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome back to Round the Hay Bale Unscripted for Season 4. My name is Alicia.
Hello, Alicia, and I'm Anne from Andale Homestead.
And I'm Monica.
What's up, y'all? It's Cayce, and welcome back to the homestead. And ho, 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 it is our season finale, and we have the husbands back, y'all. We promised y'all we would bring the husband back last season, and we have fulfilled that. Santa has answered your prayers. So I'm going to start with Alicia. And Alicia, introduce your guest.
Well, sitting here beside me, even though our listeners can't see that he's sitting here beside me. If it was truly Christmas, he'd be dressed like Santa. I'd be sitting on his lap. But alas, he's sitting beside me, my husband of 43 years. Everybody say hello to Papa Jim. Say hi, Papa Jim.
Ho, ho, ho. Papa Jim's here.
That's awesome. Hey, Papa Jim. And my husband of 44 years and soon to be 45, won't be too long, is Worth Dale of Andale Homestead, the land of plenty, the man behind the magic. This is my husband, Worth Dale. Worth, you say, hey.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm the quiet guy.
That's not what we've heard.
Oh my. I love that so much. Okay, so I am here on Bland's Promised Land Ranch. And of course, if you know me, that means you must know my husband. And so I'm here with Eric Bland. And we've, not been married quite as long as these two, but, we're our mid 20s years. What is it, 26 years now? I don't even remember anymore. It's just been a long, long time, guys. Yeah. Here's Eric.
What's up, everybody? 26 years of bliss.
Woohoo! Hey, Eric.
That was a really good statement, Eric. She'll pay you your fee afterwards, after we finish shooting. And we are talking tonight about holiday traditions, holiday memories, our favorite holiday food, and more. So let's get this holiday bash started. So I'm going to pitch it over to... y'all, we have a chat in our studio, and Monica always sends the funniest stuff that make me giggle. So we're going to start with Monica since she's in there typing, and we're going to go with her and talk about holiday memories. Let's talk about holiday memories and traditions. What are some that the Bland family does every year that you wouldn't mind sharing with our faithful listeners?
Okay, tradition-wise, each year one of the things that we do is probably something that people are I'm going to get a little bit of flack for this, but we start decorating for Christmas pretty early around here. Eric's birthday is the first week of November, and he absolutely loves Christmas so much that literally as soon as October hits and Costco goes crazy putting out all their 12-foot trees, I have to kind of keep him from Costco because our pocketbook will not allow for the amount of Christmas tree loving that he would do. He would literally, if I gave him rain, he would go in there and buy every single Christmas tree he could find. Pre-lit, not lit, all of them, because he loves Christmas. So we have to like rein it in. Like he's not even allowed to go near Hobby Lobby until his like birthday week, because Hobby Lobby is fully decked out already in October. But we, as a tradition, we set up our Christmas tree and all of our Christmas decorations. And I try to make it look as much like a Hallmark country homestead house as possible by his birthday, which is November 5th. So y'all, when people say like they get a lot of Christmas stuff and they're all like decorating for Christmas the first week of December, no, we have already had a month worth of Christmas in this house by then. And every time I try to put it away by February 1st, maybe, Eric usually calls me the Grinch. So that is one of the traditions we do. I mean, like we literally have 3 months of Christmas because Eric says, okay, if you don't love Jesus anymore, then put away his birthday stuff. That's basically what I get. So,
well, let me just say, Eric, you do know I saw this funny GIF the other day on Facebook that said, if you decorate early, dude, settle down. Mary has not even told Joseph she's pregnant yet. Huh? And that's pretty much what you're doing. Okay? Joseph don't even know he's going to be a daddy yet. Let's bring it back.
Well, I will say that we have a good time with it. The kids enjoy it. And it's not that I don't love it. I really do. But it's a lot when you have an entire extra Christmas tree and all these extra decorations up. But I know it makes him happy. So it's worth it to me. So it's something we do every year. We started doing that quite a few years ago. And it's lovely when your husband, who works so hard all day long, he's gone for 12 hours out of the day, and he comes home and he's happy because he can, relax in his living room with all the Christmas lights aglow, and it's only the first week of November. We haven't even been thankful for our turkey yet. And he's over here like, I love Christmas so much.
Bells.
Yes, but it's really nice to see the kids excited, and they really do enjoy it. So is there any other, traditions that you think we really do that are unique or different for here on the homestead?
No, I think tradition wise, I don't know. I don't want to say that we're like totally into the traditional piece of it as much as just trying to keep the main focus through the holiday season is what we keep trying to push to the kids, making sure that people know that we love the Lord and that's what we're really celebrating. So to me, it's a constant reminder when you're looking at the lights and, the things that Christ did for us. So that's what I try to keep focused on.
Yeah. And we
Grab a cup of Joe.
Well, excuse
that's
you.
nice.
Goodness sake, we're all awake now. I want to say, do I earn any extra credit points with Eric if I tell him that just in July I put my Christmas tree away? It's been up all year until July. I just now put it away.
Okay.
Does that make up for all of the raisin and daddy bean jokes throughout the year?
Well, first of all, I don't have any problem with Daddy Bean jokes at all.
The raisin jokes are a whole nother story.
No, but I think that, I don't know.
He likes the Christmas
tree. Basically, I'm not forgiven. But I'm usually whatever. I don't know.
He's like, I don't forgive you, but Christmas trees, great job. Good job, lady.
Seal of applause.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's the thing too. We also take off of school too. We do a lot. We homeschool throughout the year, but during the holidays, I really make it a point to kind of cancel school sometimes where I'm like, wrap it up, kids. We're going to take this week and we're going to really focus on just doing some fun crafts. We make holiday things for the neighbors. We bake. I really just enjoy the month of December as much as possible. And we try to really keep the kids like enjoying that whole month too.
I will say one other thing that I'm all about competition. And one thing that we do as a family is we do the family lip sync off.
Yes, we do.
And so basically everybody has to select a song. There's only one song keeper, the one that knows what every person will do. And usually right before Christmas, or if everybody's sick, we wind up doing it right after Christmas. And we do a lip sync off with anonymous voting.
Yep.
And it gets pretty serious.
It gets really serious. And Eric usually throws a temper tantrum if he doesn't win, which he doesn't always. And so it gets really his face right now. No, really though. He's so mad. He did this huge thing.
Cayce, you would have enjoyed this. I did this song and it had kind of like an undertone of like
I saw videos last year.
No. This was almost like a rock concert to the Little Drummer Boy song, and it was off the chain. I had full strobe lights.
He had strobe lights, everything. He didn't win that year.
I got the whole thing.
He didn't win. He was so mad. He was so upset.
I mean, you don't know how much effort. I mean, I actually.
There's got to be a conspiracy theorist in there. Okay.
He's like, apparently it's not about the performance. And we're like, well, your lip syncing was a little off. He's like, are you serious? The performance was there.
Full production.
Yeah.
There it is.
Put that in there.
Honestly, I thought that was Papa Jim.
Well, our listeners will never know.
So, yeah, Alicia or Anne, what do you guys do on the holidays? Do you have any holiday traditions?
Go ahead there, Alicia.
I will say, and I'm sure Papa Jim will agree with me on this, if we have one holiday tradition for the Christmas season that has followed us every year since we've been together, it's that nothing is consistent. It's always different. I never do anything the same. It's always up in the air. One year we'll get a huge tree. One year I don't put a tree up at all.
We have a wooden tree. We do have two things that were pretty consistent. Here's the mic.
That's not the tradition.
No, we so for our kids, they always get a cylinder of Tootsie Rolls every year for how many years? It's a bank, Tootsie Roll bank, for 30-something years. And then the other, more than that. And then the other thing is that for mainly for maybe Thanksgiving time, we would do every one of our kids got a pumpkin pie, their own pumpkin pie. So and it has their name on it. Yeah. So those are the two consistents, but we've been all over from doing Christmas out in the desert with motorcycles to with a wooden Christmas tree to, I mean, just so many different things. So yeah, we're not very consistent on our Christmas, but we always try to share and spend time with our family, and that's it.
I'm so bad that one year I remember we had like an 8-foot Christmas tree. The whole house was decked out. There were hundreds of presents underneath the tree. And then the next year it was kind of like, I don't know. Do we really want to go for the whole commercial route of Christmas this year? What do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know. I don't think we should do much of anything. So I didn't do anything. I didn't even buy any presents. Christmas morning rolls around. I am so guilt-ridden that I have not purchased any or made any presents for any of the kids at all. That I got up at like 6 a.m. and I ran into town to try to find anything I could to salvage Christmas. And the only place that was open was Frank's Liquor. And the kids got candy, cigarettes, and lottery tickets for Christmas that year. And I'm not even making this up. And so I never did that again. So, but they liked the candy cigarettes. I think they still remember it. I think they remember the candy cigarettes and the lottery tickets more than they remembered the year before, where they got all the presents that they asked for. You guys, if you could see Monica right now, Monica is dying. She cannot believe that I did that to my children.
I'm just wondering if it was the good candy cigarettes, the kind that were hard that you could just chew on and eat, or if they were the ones that have the little pieces where it had the wrapper where it was the gum and you puffed it.
The little smoke of powder would come out.
Oh gosh.
That's like true gangster too. Like the little were like the real cheap dime store ones, but you were like gangster if you had the ones.
I mean, if you're gonna go to Frank's Liquor, I mean that was about as gangster as it got in the hood.
Real.
So the kids come down and it's like, hey, pancakes, Merry Christmas, kids. Lottery tickets and cigarettes. Light up.
You're only 12 years old. You can't win or smoke, but guess what?
I think the oldest was 10. So they ranged from like 4 to 10, and everybody's running around the living room. They go outside when all the neighbors come out after everybody's done with their Christmas, and they're like, I got an RC car. I got a basketball. And one kid's like, I got myself a 2-pack a day Abbott.
He was like, and my mom won $50 this morning.
So, it's always something different at the Thompson household. But I tell you what, it was a memorable Christmas. We didn't forget that one.
I
But
would
the
imagine.
reason I need to back up a little bit, and the reason that is because when I was growing up, we didn't have Christmas. My last Christmas was when I was 7. And I looked at my mother and I told her, "You lied to me about Santa Claus." And we never had Christmas anymore. So for me to have Christmas for the boys, there were some days it was like, this is epic. This is it. And then there were other times it's like, I didn't have that upbringing of it being a very important thing. So I was
Yeah.
sometimes like, oh, whatever. It's, lotto and cat and cigarettes. What do you think, Papa Jim?
I think that's pretty much the truth there. So, but no, I think that our desert trips, camping, in the old Class C motorhome and waking up with a dog food dish, water dish frozen, and just stuff like that. And then so for our boys, their fondest memories are of not of all the presents and stuff. It's the trips and the things that we did, and the time that we spent, and the stories we would tell around campfires and stuff. That's where they really, and we had the benefit of being in an area where we could do that in the wintertime. Now where we live, you're
Donner Party of 6.
yeah, Donner Party of 6. Yeah, it gets pretty frigid up here. Not so much in Christmas, but towards the New Year's and stuff, we'll get down into sub-zeros. So
Right.
anyway, yeah, good times, and hopefully some of those traditions our boys are carrying on. So
Not the cigarettes, not the candy cigarettes.
what?
Not the cigarettes and the lotto tickets.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway,
We still do the lottery tickets.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so what about you, Miss Ann?
Well, do you have any ideas of some things that we have for Christmas, Worth?
Yeah, well, we always have 2 trees. We got one for the grandbabies now,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not babies anymore. We got one in here. This is their room, Ann's conference room. And then we got one in the den. And then we usually have a little one on the back porch, too.
Mm-hmm.
And
the one in the den, what do we decorate it with? Do you remember?
oh, yeah, all handmade stuff. Hand-me-downs, stuff that the kids made, stuff that we got that were handmade from aunts and uncles and cousins.
Yeah, all the special decorations that the children made in preschool. Now, granted, my son is 39 in November, daughter's 37, and I've got the Christmas ornaments that they made when they were 2 and 3 and 4 that we put on the tree very gingerly with tissue. There was a Christmas once when one of our dogs did knock the tree over and took all of the ornaments outside. And so we had to rescue them. It was an Easter egg hunt out in the yard. We did make birthday cakes for Jesus each year.
Yep.
Yeah, we made birthday cakes. But there's a place that we go now that the kids are older, our kids are older, and they have families of their own, and they have in-laws. So Christmas morning is not the same as it used to be at our home. It's just us most of the time. And we get up and say Merry Christmas and Happy Birthday, Jesus. And then we go to...
We're either at Sarah's, and then we go to my sister's house. So Mom and Dad passed. So everybody used to go to their house. And the great thing about Mom was she always had like 10 bowls of hard candy out.
Yeah.
Everywhere you looked, you could walk through the kitchen, you go through the dining room, you go into the living room, there was hard candy everywhere. Used to love that. When I was a kid, there was 7 of us. So when you walk through the house, Mom wouldn't let you touch any of it till 3 days before Christmas. We wipe it out by Christmas Day.
I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. That's neat. We're going to have to put out some hard candy, too.
Oh, I love Crunch Crunch. The green stuff with the red stripes, the best.
Okay. Well, we do at his sister's house, we have the Chinese Christmas or where you pick a number and then you do that. And then a ribbon candy. Is it the ribbon candy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, good. And afterwards, after we've eaten and after we've opened gifts at your sister's house, then what do we get to do?
Oh, we got gun toys, bow and arrows, and we fight.
We all have a Nerf gun fight. I'm telling you what, they find Nerf gun ammo all over their house for like years later. But he's one of 7 siblings. So their husbands and wives, their children, their grandchildren, the house is packed. And you're likely, if you don't get shot, then you're not in the room. Something's going on. But we have a big time. So that's a lot of fun. Don't you think that's a lot of fun?
Oh, yeah. We even found 4 or 5 years ago the fake snowballs.
So we have snowball fights.
Yep.
That's kind of like how it was down at Frank's Liquor. If you're not shot, you weren't even really there.
That's right. That would be true.
Just wow. Ho, 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 and Merry Christmas.
Okay, so I gotta say, Worth, it's really funny you said that about the Nerf gun and stuff too, because when I was growing up, my dad is one of 8, and he has 7 sisters, and with all the in-laws, we'd all pack into my grandparents' house. And I'll never forget, as a kid, we would all crowd into my grandmother's living room, and it was people standing room only at this point. Yes. And the older people got to sit. So all my aunts and all my older aunts were sitting. My younger aunts were kind of standing with their kids. And I was the oldest at the time of 15 grandkids. I think in the end, we ended up having about 22. But I was the oldest of the first 15. So, there's always a separation, a little bit of a gap. And then the younger kids start having more. Anyway, we were all there. And every year, I just remember so distinctly, right when we were done with all of our gifts, we would have all this paper everywhere. And it would always start, one of my uncles would ball it up. And there they go. And these people, I just remember all the adults were throwing paper at each other, just balled up sheets of paper. All the wrapping paper would go everywhere. And my grandmother would just sit there and laugh, have a ball watching everybody. Right. All the kids would scream, and all the kids would run out because they didn't want to get hit. But all the adults were just throwing paper at themselves. And then, of course, you had the one uncle that was always the cleanup crew, and he would just hold the bag and try to catch all the ones that were coming. It was so much fun. And when my grandmother passed away, that all ended. But that was one of my core memories as a child, was all of my crazy family throwing wrapping paper at each other. And it was
you need to revive that, Monica. Yeah. You've got enough kids, and now you're getting some daughters and sons and loves that are starting to come around. The kids are going to start getting married and getting out there. Grandbabies are going to start coming. You need to put that tradition back into play.
Yeah, we'll have to revive it one year when my dad's sitting here. I think he would enjoy that. We'll just get everybody to attack him first, and then he'll laugh, and then we can go from there. So, but yeah, that's a core memory. So your grandbabies, all those people, all those littler kids are going to remember that too, because that's right. I know I must have been, 7, 8, 9 years old. And I remember so vividly just going, I'm getting out of here, and just watching from the door.
Right. Well, as the children, as our kids, which are young adults, and their kids, now when they started bringing around a boyfriend or a girlfriend or something, and their person that they were bringing to Christmas for the first time would look around like, oh my gracious, this is a family. This is a big, crazy, laughing, hysterical family. And so that's fun. That's fun to have that.
Jake, if you knew my younger sister, she will laugh.
She will laugh. She's one of those that hugs you and you lose your breath because she hugs you so hard, and she'll squeeze you, and you're going, I love you too. But
she's only 4'11".
Yeah, she's precious. So it's wonderful.
She's strong as a bull.
So, Cayce, do you have some traditions around your house that you share with your family as well?
Also that I'm definitely, since I'm starting out on my journey of getting ready to foster to adopt, I've started traditions myself, but one that my family has that my mom started with me and my brother when we were very young was matching Christmas pajamas. Oh, and when I was with my ex and Chris started dating Tara, and this is, they'll be married by the time this podcast comes out. The first Christmas she was with us, we were like, here, these are the pajamas you have to wear then. She was like, for what? I'm like, no, you have to wear this.
Yeah.
And so she was like, okay, I love Chris. I love your brother. I will wear these horrendous um, pajamas. And then, as y'all were saying, when your kids' significant others would come to Christmas, she did the first family Christmas, which was my mom, my mom's sister, and all of her family, my mom's
Okay.
brother, wife, and all of that family. And when we became old enough, our family, I guess we'll say we're kind of rednecks, or part of the family is rednecks, is we knew it was Christmas when the homemade moonshine in the mason jar started going around the living room. And I remember seeing Tara's face for the first time, like, what hillbilly sideways Christmas have I just come to? But
It's not complete unless you got those candy cigarettes with it.
well, that's true. I do have to tell my redneck cousins, y'all have been outdone by Alicia. So y'all need to
She's like,
step your game up. But I mean, 7 years later, and Chris and Tara are married now, so I guess we didn't scare her off too much. But yeah, I
That's
would say the
good.
pajamas. Um, we always used to make Christmas cookies the night before, when we were younger, and leave it for Santa. And looking back when I was older, I was like, gosh, mom had a really good night because she got to eat all those Christmas cookies and just fake it and be like, yeah, they were all eaten. But then I remember we would leave reindeer food. And she said, yeah, I had to go outside and sweep all of that up. So that was my
Oh,
Christmas cookie, then exercise. So I will say those memories are nice to have.
that's awesome.
we've
That's
done
awesome.
the pajama things too, because we went through a long stage there where the kids were allowed to open one present on Christmas Eve. And they would get so excited because, like, they get to open one present, but mom would pick up the present, and the present would always be the Christmas pajamas that they had to wear to bed, so that when they woke up in the morning, everybody wears their matching pajamas, and so the pictures look really good. So it's funny that your family did pajamas too, because I still, on the years that I actually get gifts put together for them besides lottery tickets and cigarettes, the candy cigarettes, um, they get pajamas, but it's getting more and more expensive, especially with, the extended families and all the grandbabies. I mean, my gosh, we could spend an entire mortgage payment just on pajamas.
Absolutely.
So then there was that Christmas where we didn't wear anything at all.
It's
Just
called
kidding.
Naked Christmas. Red naked.
It was a little chilly, but
That was before.
Yule log.
Was it before you moved to Iowa or after? So I will say that because we moved so far away from my family. And when we first moved down here, the very first Christmas we were here was a little bit detached. It was hard to make that transition. And we actually had lost one of Eric's grandparents that year. And it was just a lot going on. And so our very next Christmas we were here in Texas, my mom, she felt so disconnected because we would always spend Christmas Eve with my mom's family and Christmas Day with Eric's family and my dad's family, because my parents had divorced when I was a teenager. And but even when I was a kid, we would always spend Christmas Eve with my mom's half of the family. So it was like almost like she got that special time. And so we kind of had done that after my parents' divorce still. And so on Christmas Day, we were so busy doing all these things that it was like I kind of lost the idea to be able to connect with my family so far away. So we started doing, because my mom still lives in Maryland, we started doing where we will let the kids open one gift from my mom and my stepdad on Christmas Eve. They can open one gift from Mom and Pop. And let me just tell you, they love it. They're always like, I want to open this one, because she gets presents from Amazon or wherever, and she has them shipped right here. I wrap all of the gifts from my mother for all 8 of my children and my daughter-in-law.
Sure.
But I do all the dirty work for my mom. But my kids love it. And then on Christmas Day, we FaceTime my mom so that she can see the kids opening their gifts. And we have that time for her, because I felt so bad for her because she was so far away and so far removed. And she had all those years where we would open gifts in front of her. We would have that time. We would go there and spend that entire afternoon and evening with her. And that was just kind of snatched away when we moved. And so we try to make that kind of connection still. And it's been very interesting to be doing that. So, but I'm glad we have the opportunity. Thankfully, we have technology and we can still make that connection with people that are further away.
Those first couple of years when the kids were grown, I mean, they try very hard to spend Thanksgiving with us. And Thanksgiving is kind of my holiday. But they do try to spend Thanksgiving. Our son, West, and his wife alternate years on Thanksgiving. And then Sarah and Drew, my daughter and her husband, try to come to most Thanksgivings. But it is different. It's very different when you get older and you don't have your kids in the house. It is gracious. To me, Jesus does not mind if we come and celebrate the day after or the day before. He does not mind one little bit. It doesn't have to be on that specific day. And so we try to make those times very special when the kids can be together to celebrate with both families.
She doesn't stress too bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
I
we're at the
want my
stage
babies
of
to
our
bring-
lives where, the kids have moved out, they've got their own traditions, and now we just have our little dogs. And Alicia, our little dog has joined us up here. And so they probably get spoiled more than the kids did.
Well, they definitely do because the kids come over and say, "Why? How come the dogs get treated better than we do?"
Well, they get more lotto tickets and more candy, cigarettes, and dog treats.
Even though a dog does not have opposable thumbs, they can still hold candy cigarettes.
They do.
They do.
And they puff pass.
As long as they share, because sharing is caring. So,
Okay, so for holiday foods, what do you think what is your favorite holiday food, Warren?
Which holiday? Christmas?
Christmas.
Oh, Lord. What is my favorite? Meat-wise, country ham, dessert, a good sweet potato pie. I love sweet potato pie.
There you go.
Over any of it. I can eat the whole thing. Who was that was putting the name on the pies?
Alicia does
that's the
that.
Thompson family.
She made everybody's individual pies.
Yeah, put my name on one.
We were talking during our Thanksgiving episode about food, and we were talking about pies. And it's funny that you say that, Worth, because my aunt, that was one of her favorite things to make was sweet potato pies. And that was her thing. She had to make the sweet potato pies every
it's very
year.
Southern. I love it. It's very, very Southern. Like if you don't have a sweet potato pie at one of your holiday get-togethers, you really are not from the South. It's kind of like nose turned up. Nobody's looking at you.
She was not from the South. I don't think she even visited the South. How she ended up making sweet potato pies, I don't know.
She heard it in the air.
And so I do have to share one thing. My thing that I bring to the Dale side of the family is Harvard beets. Now, Harvard beets is kind of an acquired taste. They're sweet and sour beets. It's kind of vinegar and sugar that's mixed in with beets. They're delicious, trust me.
I love them.
Yeah. But the first time I ever made some was at his mom and daddy's house, and his mom and dad were gone. Something had happened, and we were over there looking after the little ones at the time. So, it was a long time ago. And I asked for some cornstarch because I was going to thicken the Harvard beets. And they went, "We ain't got none of that." And then I said, "Well, do you have any of this or that?" And they're going, "What are you doing, you foreigner? You're not even in this family," kind of thing. And I made some of those Harvard beets, and they were like, "These are the best things I have ever put in my mouth." So from that time on, that was right after we got married. It's been right around that time. Anyway,
Right before,
right before, right after, right.
Yeah.
It's been 45 years ago. I have brought Harvard beets to every family gathering. So that's my thing. And so, Alicia, do you have something that you bring if you go to another home? Is it something that is a signature dish for you?
Well, I shared for our Thanksgiving episode about the herbed potatoes. I mean, he knew I was going to say it. I was looking over there at Papa Jimmy's like herb potatoes. But, one thing that I'm always asked to bring as well are my cheese balls. Mama makes some good cheese balls, and I like to make the cheese balls, and I will usually make 2 or 3 different types of cheese balls. And take them over with some crackers, and everybody just dives in. They love my balls. How many times am I going to say it? I'm going to say it a lot.
Quite a few.
They love my balls. Honey, do you love my balls?
I love all your varieties of balls.
And they're not even sweaty balls. They're just good old cheese balls.
Oh my goodness. And I was going to ask a really important question and you threw me off on that. Are they the mini cheese balls? Or are they mega cheese balls?
No,
That's
no,
the
they're
important thing.
they're the mega ones.
Okay.
And sometimes I even roll my balls in nuts.
Okay, so Monica, is there something
Thank you, Anne. Let's go ahead and slide
because
it along.
they used to, everybody, all of us have something. Like in my family, I'm in charge of bringing a jar of pickles to Thanksgiving and Harvard beets to Christmas. Is there something that you bring when you have gatherings that people sort of, it's kind of Monica's signature bringing something?
Well, I don't have Pinkies Up Beats from Harvard, and I do not bring the cheese balls, and I do not bring the pickles. You know what? I only bring the meat.
Okay.
She's
Well,
got the meat.
yes.
I'm sorry.
But I mean, you raise your own meat, so
For
that
the
would
family
be
dinners,
normal.
I typically bring the hams and the turkey because we raise the meat. We usually are in charge of
Listeners, we are rated that you should sit and
preparing.
listen to this with adults.
We prepare the ham. We prepare the turkey. We prepare those here. I think I spoke about it in our podcast. Actually, we talked about it. Hey, y'all, hey. That is it. Alicia just reminded me. I do have a signature dish that I bring to the holidays. I bring the sausage and kraut. So I do bring the meat, but my family is from Maryland originally. And so we have a heavy German influence in a lot of the things that my grandmother used to make. And she made a sausage and kraut dish, and it was with sage sausage, and you could get it in Maryland, and here in Texas, you cannot. So that is one thing I really miss about Maryland, because you just can't get the same flavored sausage here. And so even though I've looked everywhere, and even though we raise our own pork, we raise our own beef, you just can't get the same flavoring. Okay. And so I do a variety that's a little different, but I do make crown sausage when I go for the holidays. It's been one of my favorite things to bring, because we do, Eric is usually in charge of making the turkey. He does that in the smoker, and then I usually do the ham in the crock pot, and then I do and another crock pot because I may have several. I do make the kraut and sausage, but that's usually one that only a few of the people will eat. It's not one of those family favorites. They just know Monica's going to bring the stinky dish. But I will say that Eric used to have, we had a kraut ban in place for a number of years. Sauerkraut was banned in our home by Eric.
Amen.
And I adhered to the sauerkraut ban. However, when I learned how to make kraut and sausage properly, he lifted the ban, and now it is allowed for the holidays. So we have lifted the ban.
Worth loves sauerkraut.
But it's delicious because it's not really tart the way you make it. It really absorbs the flavor of the sausage, depending on what seasoning you get. And it's a really good flavor to it. So it's mild, and even his parents, his mom and dad, his dad likes it and stuff like that. So that's always good, because it's something that my grandmother used to make, and she's not here anymore. So it's nice to be able to kind of make something that was a family tradition. So
that's awesome. How about you, Cayce? Do you have something that people are expecting when you show up?
I think he's afraid to say anything.
Besides the wine, Cayce. It's not going to say wine. Don't say you're bringing the wine.
I was about to say, well, a lot of people don't like the variety that I have, so they actually don't let me. They're actually a little more bougie. No, I have a really boring thing. I don't have any meat or cheese balls, but they always ask for the dinner rolls. Because I'm kind of the bread maker, so I've got the rated G version of what I'm supposed to bring to holiday parties. And dinner rolls, I will say that my mother is known for her sausage balls, but that is an actual dish, and I'm not being funny. They're delicious.
cheese balls.
Yeah.
It's
No,
the
sausage balls are great. I've
the-
had them
Yeah,
before. They're
they're
really good.
so good. Like it's where my mom now, even with us being grown, she's still doing like 6 or 7 pounds of that
Wow.
dish and bringing it, and people won't let her through the door unless they see the dish of sausage balls, and then
That's it.
the attitude
Is there,
changes.
is there something that you bring, babe, when you come? I mean, he's known for his cheesy potatoes.
It
Um,
all depends on what they ask for. They
okay.
they get turkey. They get barbecue,
Oh yeah,
pork,
he does. He does. He can cook some mean barbecue. So your barbecue is very famous.
or wild meat wrapped in bacon.
Anything wrapped in bacon is a win, right?
It is for me.
How about you, Papa Jim? Is there something that you're known for?
No, not really. I mean, all depending on the weather and stuff. Sometimes I'll do a brisket or something to include. But for myself personally, I am a side guy. So I can do just a little bit of a meat, but then I'll do all the sides. I want as much sides as I can get. I love I think they're like a candied yams, and just stuff like that. I just like all the sides, and definitely the dinner rolls. I'm a dinner roll guy.
Woohoo!
Oh, stuff and muffins. Yeah, Country Mama does stuff and muffins.
I was about to say that
Ooh,
sounds good.
wow.
So, but
How
yeah,
about you, Eric? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll do
How
a
about you,
video.
Eric? Is there something? Now, I hear there was a new term that I learned today on turkeys.
Me too. For those that don't know, we pre-shoot a lot of our episodes, and we shoot our Christmas and Thanksgiving on the same day, way before, and we learned this new term from Monica. Well, me and Ann did. So,
Yeah.
explain it, please.
Eric, when you split the turkey in half, what's it called?
Yeah, it's called spatchcocking. That's
Spatchcock.
actually from one of your previous hosts on this show is where I learned it from, which is Lisa. And what I found was it actually helps cook everything a little bit quicker, so that you don't have to have
Yeah, you spread it out.
everybody or everything sitting out or sitting in like a smoker or in the oven for so many hours. So it was pretty good.
He's been
For our
doing that the
listeners-
past couple.
Yeah, for our
Yeah.
listeners that need a visual, you're just spreading your bird.
Yeah, you are. You're basically having it, and you're able to. You can disconnect it at the back end of it in the spine, and you have now 2 pieces instead of 1. So it does cook a little bit more, I guess, quickly. We found that we were able to cook an entire turkey a little bit. We were able to slow cook it, but quicker.
Well, I have a question, a serious question, actually. Eric, do you do that obviously when the bird has not been cooked, correct? You do it before. Well, it's the raw
Yes.
turkey. Have you ever done it like you've pre-done it and freeze it that way? Is it good to cut it and you can freeze it in half, or should you go straight and cook it after you've cut the bird in half?
I don't know that I would say one way or the other. I mean, for the size of the bird, it would probably be easier to do it before it's frozen. That way, it's not so big sitting inside your freezer.
No, he means
But-
like freeze the. You mean spatchcock it, then freeze it in the half, right?
Yes.
That's what
So yeah, okay. So then put it in the freezer in two halves, right?
Because it'd be good. Yeah, it'd be good for like a small family. I'm thinking for our listeners that don't have,
Yeah.
the football teams that both Monica and Alicia have. Are you enjoying our Hay Bale topics? To learn more, click our Linktree link to get all our product recommendations, along with discount codes and more.
Yes.
It could be easier to learn this trick. And Eric, you have a video on that, correct? That's on y'all's channel.
Yeah, it's yeah. You'll find a lot of people that are doing meat videos.
We don't want to see other people's video. We just want to see Eric from Bland's
We wanna
Promised
see
Land
Eric's
Ranch.
video.
Correct.
Bland's
Correct.
Promised Land Ranch.
I mean, look, it's one of those things. So here's the only downside to that is if you don't have a lot of hand strength, then you may have a hard time trying to cut along the spine on a turkey opposed to a chicken. Obviously the bone density for a turkey is a little bit thicker than a chicken. But either way, that's one thing that I've learned being down here in Texas is people's preferences for the holiday change based upon where you are in the country.
Mhm.
And so a lot of things that we do down here seems to be kind of foreign to Texans. But I just wanted to jump on board real quick with Papa Jim over there and give a shout out to all the sides in the house, because
Woohoo.
you can eat. For me, the holidays are the time where I kind of let myself enjoy the food a little bit more. I try to be very particular about how I eat throughout the year. But when it comes time for Thanksgiving and Christmas, you know what? If I want an extra helping of mashed potatoes or that cornbread pudding or, green bean casserole, gravy, the homemade rolls, the pumpkin bread, the pumpkin pie.
Yeah, he'll definitely eat a little more.
I'll keep going.
He'll go for the sides this time of year because it is one of those things. But normally during the year, it's just he eats more clean, more paleo, if you will, just real clean as much as he can, where he's eating more.
Yeah,
less carbs.
I think throughout the year we portion ourselves, but we give ourselves a little bit of a break.
Mhm.
And if you don't get to a point where you're thinking, I will never do this again, then
You haven't done it right.
Right.
You have not done it right.
Right. Until you get to the next day for the leftovers, then you just go back and you do it again.
If you don't have to put your eating pants on, you haven't done it right.
And that's what I was going to say, Monica, is, that's one tradition that we started for the family several years ago for Thanksgiving, is when we all get together for Thanksgiving dinner, nobody's all dressed to the nines. We all show up in pajamas. If we're all going to my brother's house for Christmas or for Thanksgiving dinner, we all go in our pajamas, because that way you got room for all that food. And we stuff ourselves with food, and then we sit around and we play games, and you're just lounging around in your jammies. And it's the only way to do Thanksgiving around here anymore.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, we call them the glutton pants.
Well,
Actually, no, we don't.
No, what was it?
Yeah.
There used to be, I used to call them old people pants, but they were, instead of like the button, they were the tie, stretchy waist on the khakis or the jeans.
Oh, yeah.
My grandparents used to wear them. That's what I wear at a holiday.
Now you're mid-30s, so now you understand old is very relative.
Correct.
Yes, it is.
And I also know that Eric is correct that during the holidays, overeating is okay. And I started about August 1st. And I usually end it, let's say, anywhere from July 30th to July 31st. So I give myself a little bit of leeway,
Just a little.
just a little bit of leeway to be, chunky for Jesus is what we call it down here.
Is that kind of like pre-gaming?
Correct. For all of our football watchers, that's what that means, is pre-gaming when you do it 12 months out of the year.
There you go. He's getting prepared.
He's prepared, Miss Ann. He's prepared.
Gotta get in shape.
That's right. Have that
Round is a
workout.
shape.
Round is a shape.
Round is a shape.
Oh my goodness! So
What time is it? It's time to move this conversation on to the next topic. What else are we talking about?
So we want to talk about our favorite desserts.
Yes.
I mean, look, we got to talk food. One more thing. If you had to pick a favorite holiday dessert, we're talking like Christmas desserts, okay? We've already done Thanksgiving. That's come and gone. We've been decorated for Christmas for a long time. So obviously at this point, we need to know what desserts are coming out for Christmas. Now, I will say we do dipped foods. Like, one of the things that my kids look forward to is the dipped candies at Christmas time. That's a holiday tradition here. We dip peanut butter crackers. So it's Ritz crackers with peanut butter smashed in between. You dip them in chocolate, either dark or milk. And literally the moment I pull them out, as soon as they dry, Eric is literally about to explode over here. You cannot wait, because I start dipping chocolates right after his birthday as well, because with the holiday decorating comes the holiday dipping. And we'll go through an entire Costco-sized box of Ritz crackers. And Eric wants to add to this.
I got to say that she said peanut butter. She had me.
Yeah. But I got that because his mom used to do it all the time,
True
right?
story.
So we do that. His mom makes what we call Russell Stover candies. They're basically coconut balls. We're back to the balls, but the Russell Stover candies, the coconut, they have like nuts in them and stuff, and they're super delish. She makes those. We dip all kinds of like pretzels and things like that, and my kids love to help with this part of it. So it's one of those things I kind of stock up through the year, and I get the dipping chocolates, and I always get dark chocolate and milk chocolate. I get a big bag or two or a couple more than that. And I always have them ready for me in the freezer so that they're ready for the Christmas season. And my kids absolutely love it. And beyond my kids, my husband absolutely loves it.
Awesome.
So that's
Well,
been
how
our
do you-
thing.
How do you get the Ritz crackers out of the chocolate?
Oh, you just take your fork, right? No, you don't use your hands. So you just take your fork and you just put your Ritz cracker with your, it's like a Ritz cracker sandwich,
Yeah.
peanut butter in the middle. You smash it together. You put it on your fork. You dip it in the chocolate. You flip it over, and then you just lift it out, kind of give it a
Okay.
tap, 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 and then you put it on the parchment paper. It is perfect. If y'all don't have,
I was about to say, I think this sounds like the Blands may have a video coming out this year.
I have a video. I already have a video on that exact thing.
She has a
Really?
video.
Because I learned from Alicia about the homemade Butterfingers.
The Butterfingers. That's
And
what I
I
was going to say.
started
is the
that
homemade
last
Butterfinger.
year because
Did you like them?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, soapbox. So right now it's well, while we're shooting, listeners, we're shooting right before Halloween. So this is the best time to be thinking, am I going to make homemade Butterfingers for holiday season? Because you wait until that candy corn is cheap, which it should be in about a couple hours at all the stores. And
Yes.
you stock up on the candy corn, and then you head over to Country Mama Musing and you watch how to make these Butterfingers. Now, one thing that I do that Alicia did not do in her video is I vacuum seal it in quart jars with the lid so that I have mini Butterfinger treats from November to usually they last until the beginning of January. And I
Like
just
they
do.
even last that long around here. They don't even last a day around here.
Well, see, I like to play like Elf on a Shelf and put it all in different places. So my family will be like, "Hey, Cayce, where are those Butterfingers?" Oh, I don't know. Just look, it's somewhere in the pantry. And we have 3 pantries. So, I mean, for them to find it, they'll find it by January.
I do want to say for the listeners, if anybody turns their nose up at candy corn, like I don't like candy corn because a lot of people don't. But if you use the candy corn that goes on sale after Halloween and you use them to make these Butterfinger bars, they are delicious and you don't even know that they're made from candy corn. It is amazing.
Oh, I've got to learn. I have to learn.
It's so
Alicia, I
good.
need an updated video.
I've got a
Need an-
video. I've got a video on my channel.
Okay, good. Well, ours is not candy, but Worth's sister makes picking cake, which is yellow cake with frost. It's like Cool Whip frosting with pineapple chunks in it. It's really yummy, but
That's
she makes
not
it
what it's called over here.
It's not called picking cake.
That's not what that's called up in where our neck of the woods is.
And what is it called? Uh-oh. She's conversing with
I
the
had
hubby
to
to find out.
All right. I believe it's probably, he says it's not what I said it is. He knows what the other, not with pineapple. Okay, then it's probably closer to a hummingbird cake.
So as the cake is, do you take the yellow cake and has it got holes poked in it?
No.
Yeah.
All right. Never mind.
She's on a whole nother.
Wah, wah, wah. Back to Annandale.
It's delicious. It's really good, but all you guys talking about all these things, and I'm thinking of all the things I can do with the grandbabies this year, dipping all that stuff in chocolate.
Well, that cake, and I'm telling you that Papa Jim was talking about, we did it when I was working for the school system. And it's a yellow cake, and you poke holes in it with either a straw or a stick or something. And then what we did was we made the Jell-O, and you pour the Jell-O over the cake, and it will soak into the cake overnight. And it is the most moist, delicious, fruity yellow cake that you will ever have. And then of course you top it with whipped cream frosting and that kind of stuff. So that's, I think kids like to do, the kids at my school like to, well, they like to poke holes in the cake. I think that was the best part of it, but everything else was kind of a side note, but it's a good cake. And now that cake is called a name that we cannot talk about on our podcast because we would get dinged. So look it up yourself.
But you had already talked about sweet potato
But I think
pie,
that what I liked about that cake was that because every piece you get it's the same thing. So you're not somebody. The center of the cake is just as good as the outer edges because of the Jello that's soaked around.
Okay. Sounds scrumptious.
I know one thing that Papa Jim really likes around the holidays, and I haven't done it in a long time, and I'm sorry, honey. Behave yourself. Is making fudge and divinity. It's been a long time since I've made him any divinity, and he really does love divinity and fudge. I'll make you some fudge this year, even though I can't eat it.
Yeah. Well, when you start getting old, you got to give up things.
Long, awkward silence.
And the Blands.
Oh, so Eric was going to say something too.
Yeah, I was going to mention that my future daughter-in-law introduced me to something that I guess you could. It's pretty much a fall/winter cookie.
Yeah.
What was it called? Pumpkin cheesecake cookie. And we actually did a video on that as well. And so she had made these at her house and came over to visit our son. Mm-hmm. And she brought us the leftovers, I have to say. Nonetheless, they were out of this world. And so I asked her how to make it. She gave us the recipe. And what I found out was that they're even better when they're warm. Mm-hmm. Man, that is a cookie that if you only eat one, there's something wrong with your taste buds. Because I'm going to tell you something. You need your eating pants.
Yeah.
And prepare to get fat, because as you're eating them, you can just feel your waistline growing.
Well, they take a lot to make too, because you have to, like, I'm not a patient baker.
What?
Like, I'm not a patient baker because I don't like to, I don't like those recipes where you have to like roll it and put it in the refrigerator and keep it cold and do all. No. I want to make it. I want to put it in the oven, and I want to go sit down because my feet hurt, and I want to go sit because if I stand up in front of all these cookies, I'm going to eat all of them, and then it's going to be bad. So I just want to make it and go enjoy my family. But with these cookies, you have to like put them in the freezer and like or flash freeze them, or just like put them in the fridge and like let them. So it's a little time consuming. But I will say, for the time consuming nature of these cookies, it is worth every single moment. They are so delicious. Well, no, I'm thankful for her.
I think this is where you help the soon-to-be daughter-in-law understand that if she wants a part of this family,
she should make them. That should be her thing.
Provide the proper food.
That'll be her thing she brings. Look, we're going to step it up. Miss Ann was only allowed to bring pickles. We're going to make sure Liberty is only allowed to bring those cookies. Love it. So Miss Ann, so what about you, Worth? Do you have something that your like favorite like holiday dessert? Like Christmas dessert?
Christmas, Thanksgiving, sweet potato pie.
Okay, so you're going with the pie.
Yeah.
Strictly pie.
All the time.
He's a pie man.
I am a pie man.
That and pecan pie. Yep. You like pecan pie.
Unless there's cherry jubilee there.
Oh.
My Aunt Pegs, she'll have cherry jubilee. Woo.
Yeah, that stuff is good.
Man,
I don't know how to make it.
I was about to ask what exactly is it? Because I've heard it before, but what?
It's like you got graham crackers, a layer of cherries, the Cool Whip, another layer of graham crackers, cherries, Cool Whip.
Mm-hmm. But the graham crackers get soft, so it's like a crust.
They're not crunchy anymore.
When
you eat it, it's like everything just melts in your mouth. It's like, whoop.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Kind of like those pumpkin cookies you were talking about. Once you start, it's like got to get going now.
But
starting in July, we're starting to practice.
She sometimes puts some nuts in it too.
Yes,
that's really good.
She uses chestnuts.
Okay.
Ooh, chestnuts.
To me, to kind of talk about the pumpkin pie for a minute, or the sweet potato pie, or I'm sorry, not pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie. I feel like sweet potato is one of those things, either you're in or you're out. There's like nobody on the fence. And Worth, as much as I've enjoyed this conversation, I'm 100% out.
He's all for pumpkin though. But see, he eats the pumpkin pie that my son makes that's from fresh pumpkins. So I'm wondering if now that he's eating fresh pumpkin pie, not this store-bought pumpkin pies, I'm wondering if he may actually like a fresh sweet potato pie. I don't think.
Is Eric a little bouge? Is he a little bouge?
He's a little pinkies up. He can be, so we have to be mindful of that.
We can
Um,
still like each other even though we disagree.
yeah,
How's
he's
that?
a little
I
diva
love
sometimes. We have to
pumpkin
rein it
pie too.
in.
Sweet potatoes is number
I
one.
heard rumor that Eric's favorite holiday pie is sour cream raisin.
Never, never.
Yikes.
Yeah, no, the pumpkin pies our son Luke makes are great because they're with fresh pumpkins. And so it's kind of sad too because his mom will make pumpkin pie and she'll use the canned pie filling. And then he's like, yeah, Luke made me a fresh pumpkin pie. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, don't tell your mom that.
That's a
Jeez.
lot of work. I
And-
made a fresh pumpkin pie once. It is a lot of work.
It is a lot of
Yeah.
work. But since we're talking about pies, and before we wrap up this episode, I'm going to ask all of the husbands, because we talked about this in our Thanksgiving episode. How do y'all say this? Do you say pecan pie or do you say pecan pie? We'll start with the Dales up in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Come on, bro. Pecan.
Pecan. We got to
pie.
vote for pecan. Okay, Eric.
Well, I'm not trying to pee in no can, so I'm just going to say pecan.
I knew it was coming.
Me too.
So did I. All right, Papa Jim.
It's pecan pie.
Well,
Mhm.
both of y'all are wrong. Me and Worth are correct. It is pecan. It is pronounced pecan. Pecan. Because you
Pecan
get
pie.
it from the South, so you have to listen to us from the South. If you don't, y'all, it's just not right. It's pecan. And you have to add a little bit of
That's
a fake accent in when you say it. Like for me, like I have to put
So-
a little bit of pecan in it to say it correctly. You know what I'm saying?
So
Got it
it's
going on, man.
pecan.
There
Pecan
you
pie.
go.
Pecan.
Correct.
It-
like what you put under your bed, huh?
Like what you have next to the bed. Yes, the pecan. The pecan
Oh.
pie.
Now we're talking about cheese balls.
Ha-
again.
I don't know.
Right. There we go.
So with your, I just have a question. So with your pumpkin pies or your sweet potato pies, is it with or without whipped topping?
I like it with white topping. I like if I'm going to have it with anything, it's going to be vanilla ice cream on top of it.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh, that's leveled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pecan style. That's leveled up. That's
That's
nobody's
that,
nobody's
that
saying
pick me up
pecan
right there. No, we're not
Nobody's
saying
saying
pecan no
pecan
more.
pie and having ice cream with their pie. Okay, that's like mixed. I'm getting mixed signals there. But okay, Eric, what are you doing with your pie?
What am I doing with my pie?
What are you putting on your pie?
Yeah.
pumpkin.
What are you putting on your
Plain?
pecan pie?
What are you putting on your?
Well, I'm not a huge pecan pie type of guy. I mean, I like the flavor. It's just a little too much for me. But if I'm doing pumpkin, Cool Whip all the way.
Cool Whip. Yeah.
He prefers plastic on his
I
pie.
think one of the best combination is Dutch apple with vanilla ice cream.
Every day, all day.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You
And
like
that's
the
and we
apple with
ice
vanilla
cream.
and if anybody's ever watched the movie Starman, that's a Starman pie, and it's all the way for almost our whole how many years? Our whole marriage. Yeah.
And
Starman
not cheddar
pie.
cheese. Like before we started shooting our episode, Alicia was talking
No.
about cheddar cheese on apple pie.
No normal person puts cheese on pie.
Yeah.
We do apple pie. See, I'm an apple pie gal. He's a pumpkin pie guy.
Now,
We go together.
I'm only a Dutch apple.
he only likes Dutch apple pie for something like that. However, he was not here earlier when we were talking about what we were talking about off camera. But I'm going to ask him so you guys can see. I'm going to tell him. I'm going to hand him the microphone right now.
All right.
What do we eat our chili with here in Iowa?
We eat chili? No. Okay, so when you eat chili in Iowa, you eat it over a cinnamon roll.
Boom. Boom.
A cinnamon roll. And if you've never had it, which I thought was absolutely insane until I had it the first time, and it's like, OMG.
Well, I will say that since we start shooting our next season in the cold times, Andale, Alicia, Monica, I am challenging the four of us to try on recording chili over a cinnamon roll. Monica, don't shake your head. We are totally going to try it.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I make a cinnamon roll, I am not wasting the energy by putting chili on it. First of all. Second of all, I don't even eat cinnamon rolls. So if I can finagle Luke into making his cinnamon roll, because my son Luke makes the best, it's Paula Deen's recipe, but he does it something good. Like he just, it's good. But I can barely get him to make them. So if I can get a cinnamon roll somehow in this house, we'll see what I can do.
And there's one more thing I want to put out before we have to wrap things up. If anybody's ever wants to try something, try Oreos with the pickled jalapeno on top of it. I am dead serious. I had a coworker tell me that one time, and so he brought them in, and I tried it.
I have tried that. That is good. I will give you that one.
Have you tried that?
I have, but I had a couple glasses of wine beforehand, so I that may have kind of knocked off the taste buds.
Well, I'm going to say that's like two of
Control
Eric's like favorite things is jalapenos and Oreos anyway. But I will say that over here in Texas in Sonic, they had a shake a few years back. It was the chocolate jalapeno shake. And this man would pull up to Sonic, order himself a chocolate jalapeno shake. And even after they stopped making them, he would go to this one particular Sonic and ask him, and the guy would still make it for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I can imagine that chocolate, an Oreo and a jalapeno would probably be pretty good. He's giving some thumbs up back here, so he's going to try it.
It's the one, the jalapenos that are in the jar. So I don't know if they're pickled or not, but they're the ones in the glass jar.
Yeah, probably pickled jalapenos.
Y'all are nuts. But we'll have to do a whole episode just on weird flavor combos.
There you go.
And how you put those together. So, we're gonna leave that on that chocolatey, spicy note. That's where we're gonna wrap up our show. I want to thank our husbands for joining us here today for this special holiday episode where we're just talking all things about Christmas. We thank them so much for joining us and spending their time with you guys. They're not used to coming on to the podcast and spending time with you. So we really want to thank them for taking the time out of their day to spend with you, our listeners, and with us here on Round the Hay Bale. We also want to thank our listeners for joining us for over 50 episodes now. We are over 50 episodes on this podcast. It is just amazing. Of course, now I was going to say, who knew that we could talk about so much? But if you were to ask anybody in my family or anybody from my grade school, they would tell you we knew Alicia could talk forever. So she has no problem coming up with things to talk about. So it will not surprise them. But 50 episodes, I'm really surprised. So guys, we want you to have a very Merry Christmas. We will see you all next year when we will start our 5th season of Round the Hay Bale. I'm sure, based on tonight's episode, this season is going to be unscripted as well, because if I'm going to show up, we're going to need the disclaimers. But no disclaimer about having a lovely holiday. Bye-bye, friends.